All right, it's just me. Catch speedboat games almost every day, all day. The 7 people having the best cumulatives in May on. We've got Riaz, who is a perpetual fire. Arthik, who commentated with me before, Longhorn. Nice guy. I think that's Michael Stover. We haven't really played a lot, but he's a good player. Welcome, Bot. He could thank me for being in the finals as he soloed off of me. Eustachio Rauli. Pretty sure he's out of New York. And Quicksand. So I won't give his real name, but he's like 13 or 14 years old. He's like a diplomacy prodigy here. All right, so Gunboat, for those of you who don't know, is a game where it's a variant of diplomacy where you don't negotiate either through text or email or verbally. You just go ahead and put in your orders and you try and communicate through your orders. And that's what these people are doing right now. Oh, somebody's entering. Someone named Andrew Zick has joined. Is that Pixie?
It is Pixie. Hello, pleasure to meet you.
Okay, fantastic.
I can
All right.
My name.
So I just sort of gave some background here, and people can come on as they want. We're spring 1901. I haven't gone through any of the orders so far, but Pixie, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you were in the.
Might have lost you for a second there, but you wanted to know about me. Let's see. I first got introduced to the game in college, which is going to be like probably 7 or 8 years ago at this point, by my friend Carl, who actually is KRL. You might have run into him online. Let me know if I'm breaking up for you, because you broke up for me.
Go on.
So from there, that was face to face was my first introduction. And I do say that was a lot of fun, especially like burning a whole Saturday, getting like, pizza and then something else for dinner and just killing just absolutely nothing else to do in the world. And then I kind of dropped it for a while and then I picked it back up summer, winter, it's almost 2 years ago now. And I came into WebDip because I poked a bunch of websites and that was the interface that made the most sense at the time. I'm not here to start any wars. And I ran with that and I got into Gunboat because I found I didn't really have the time for press at that point. And I just ran with Gunboat because I started to get a taste of more advanced tactics. So I think core thing for me when I play with my friend Carl, I had like a mind blow moment in like the second game when he like support held something and I couldn't get rid of it. I was like, you definitely never explained that in the rules. And ever since that, I've been like, well, self bounce, cover with support. And I'm like, that's really like, I think Captain Meme posted a puzzle in the Nexus Discord a couple months back about something from a previous finals press game about like, how do you guarantee to get Paris in this as an EG?
He was talking about the season 5 Nexus main event.
That I would eat that up all day, every day. And that I wouldn't play games. I would just do little puzzles and ignore everything else. So that's
well, we played one virtual face-to-face game, and I think that's fairly true. You are an abstract thinker in the world of diplomacy.
I haven't done any VFTF actually. So
you haven't.
Whoever you're giving a compliment to, I'm sure we'll take it. Well, and I will too.
All right.
All right. Speedboat. So yeah, to summarize, Gunboat, WebDip led to Nexus. There wasn't much Nexus. I did season 3 press for Nexus. I did the current season press and did pretty well. And then Nexus led to Speedboat. And I was like, Speedboat time commitment. exactly what I can handle. Here I am.
All right. Okay, so let's look at these moves and we'll see if anyone joins us. JJ is supposed to join. Moves are, I don't know what is standard in the meta of the Nexus Speedboat League. I see so many moves to the channel from either England or France, but we didn't see it this time.
Yeah, I think that people got really bored and sick of it. And then, there's a public article or two in the Nexus Speedboat channels, and that definitely lessened the number of EGs. Although I think it's still more popular than any other Northern Alliance, in my opinion. I haven't looked at all the games.
Yeah, but
But I
EF
would still
is
see it. Yeah.
EF is a very popular alliance, but someone moves to the channel as a play on Paris. But here in the West, I mean, we normal German opening, fairly standard English opening, could have gone to Edinburgh. You don't see a lot of that in Speedboat. And then what I would call a, fairly standard French opening.
Yep. I think honestly, I'm not interested in the spring moves. What I want to see is if Germany lets Russia and Sweden in the fall. I guess with the Northern English opening, it's more likely, but after Saren's long evidence-based post on the Speedboat channel asking for all Germanies to always let Russia in their best interest, I was hoping that would affect people's play a little bit. Might play out here.
I don't know. My experience in Speedboat, at least, is it seems to never happen or really rarely. But I looked at every fall 1901 move in last year in diplomacy, and it took me months. And in most virtual face-to-face games, I'm going to let JJ in here. In most virtual face-to-face games, Germany does let Russia in. It doesn't seem to be that way in these games and this people. All right, we've got JJ Raymond joining the stream.
What's up?
JJ's like
Nice to meet you,
12, is going through puberty
Oh.
and plays diplomacy.
12 plus 5, but everything else pretty much accurate.
All right, so Pixie and I were just sort of talking about. I'm going to change the spotlights here, but so we can all be on there. We looked at the West; they look pretty standard. The only question, JJ, is you're in tune with the meta as much as anyone. I haven't played in a few weeks; seems to change week to week. But neither England nor France moving to the channel. Is that just the new meta now?
I don't know. I feel like for some reason they're both good at the channel or neither recently. It's kind of weird, but yeah, I mean a decent amount of games recently we've seen no bounce in the channel, which I mean both France and England should be happy about here. I don't know if we've talked about the Russian opening, but that seems to be the only one that's kind of
dive right in.
Yeah,
we've not talked about it.
That's sort of the one.
It's an unusual opening as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, because I mean, I've seen sometimes that variant, but with Moscow going north, but to see Moscow holding and Warsaw not going to Galicia is definitely interesting. We'll see what Russia decides to do in the fall, because I mean, they're in the Black Sea, which is good, but does Moscow cover Warsaw? I mean, I would presume that's what's going to happen, but
I think it's a signal, isn't it? A signal to Austria. I want to work with you. You can't snag Warsaw.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I haven't seen this Russian opening very much, if at all. So
I've typically seen the signal as Moscow, Ukraine, Warsaw hold. So it's interesting that it's reversed here. Yeah,
it is, and Russia gets lucky with no bounce in the black.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what Austria decides to do, if they try and contest Romania, or if they take the Russian signal and want to be friends with Russia now after the Moscow hold. But it'll be interesting to see, because I mean, other than the Tyrolia move, Austria is in pretty good shape.
What is the current meta with the going strong for a long time. But it seemed like Italy's were getting greedy quite a bit.
I don't think it's changed too much. I think there's still a decent amount of Venice to Trieste. I think the Turkish moves tell you that too, because this is very like anti-Austrian, Italian, quick alliance meta to swap into Constantinople immediately.
Yeah, adding on to that, I feel like towards the beginning of this season, there was definitely a lot of Italian aggression and Venice to Trieste, even Rome to Venice. And that sort of led to a lot of RT dominance at the beginning of the season, but now it's sort of been more balanced with, I mean, a lot of different alliances. It's not as much AI as it maybe was a few months ago, but we'll see. I mean, I love the Tyrolia move as Italy. It gives lots of flexibility. I oftentimes will sometimes go to Munich. So we'll see if
Strike Force North.
Yeah, we'll see if France and Burgundy has anything to do with Munich, or they could just go for Belgium. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. Everything looks pretty standard here other than the Russian opening.
Yeah, I was
All
gonna say.
right, we'll go to the
Go for
fall.
it.
Oh, look at that. Look at
JJ, you
Russia
wanna-
take Sweden
Interesting.
and Romania and
So
did cover Warsaw.
So Russia goes full south just for England to go full anti-Russia. But the French, wow, a lot of interesting moves here. The France moving to Irish stands out to me. We'll see what England builds. Wow, yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I've seen a France go up to Irish. I sometimes like to do that in face-to-face, where I'll say, like, give me Belgium and one of the Iberian dots, and then in exchange, as talking to Germany as France, I'll go up to NAO or Irish, and we can sort of attack England in that way rather than like moving to the channel in 01. But it's interesting. I mean, France is in a pretty good spot here. Germany is not giving them any trouble. I mean, Italy, although they moved to Gascony, which I guess Sabi is happy about. Italy's convoy to Tunis. So, I mean, we'll see if Germany decides to work with France after this, or I guess France is pretty vulnerable around Burgundy. So we'll see what they do. What do you guys think?
Well, I don't know. I'm curious about the French move, right? Like, I don't view it as optimistically. I like to see an EF war and then pick the side I want to go on. And Athens made a decision here. I think that helps Germany. I mean, England's in a bad spot, right? They convoyed the army. Now Russia builds two. What do you think England builds? They build a fleet pool or an army? I assume it has to be Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they could maybe build Army Eddie, but other than that, it would have to be Liverpool. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. It really depends. Germany has, Germany really can pick a side here. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what England builds. What do you think?
Pixie, your thoughts on the West?
I think it can't be another army, because another army is just gonna kill your chances about doing anything else this game. I think you can pretty easily get away with convoying Norway back in the spring. And I think you could even risk doing a fleet London in the fall, because that tells Ira either has to walk into Liverpool during that turn or bounce you in wall. Does the bounce, your new army in Edinburgh can cover Liverpool. If they don't, then you've at least got a guess between you're in Wales, and presumably they built Feetbrae, right? And they walked into the English Channel. So then you're kind of playing that situation. You're like, well, now North Sea can maybe cover London. You have to guess about cutting Wales versus is that going to move, or do you do like a supported move back into Wales, right? That kind of, you can force a 50-50 with Fleet London. I think that might be all right.
This is probably why I'm no good at Speedboat. That seems a little risky to me, but we'll see. I guess you have to take risks in Speedboat. Meanwhile, Italy signals no, that army in Tyrolia is not anti-Austrian. Convoys to Tunis looks like, they want the Lepanto going. Uh,
Yeah,
Russia goes back to Vienna.
Austria's
Austria.
yeah, Austria's decision with moving back to Vienna is interesting because I don't know if they were trying to bounce it or what. I mean, because I feel like if Italy's moving to one of the two, it's probably going to be Trieste. But I guess I don't know. Maybe they were trying to channel their inner Pez guessing powers, but it's interesting. And then Russia at the same time not covering Warsaw. I mean, good for them.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's both. I think you're completely right that it's both, right? It's tentatively accepting the AR, nothing super committed. And maybe that gets you a positive play in the spring from Russia, right? And then you can be like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll take Romania. But I've seen, or I think more accurately, I think I was the victim of a Venice to Tyrolia to Vienna combined with an Apulia convoying to Albania. And that was fairly unpleasant and effective because
Yeah.
then you can build Army Venice even and then support yourself in, or you can just support Albania up into it, and attempt that in the next year. Like I was like, ooh, this kind of sucks. So that might have been what they're like tentatively defending against as Austria in that situation.
What do we think Russia builds here? Because they got two builds, but England does have two on St. Petersburg, but England also has French trouble. So any guesses
I
on the
think
Russian build?
Russia smells easy, and they are easy, right? I mean, England's got to go back to defend, so we're inclined to build a fleet north coast, but I don't know. The other one probably Sevastopol. I think Turkey's dead.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, Turkey definitely played it safe. They did the self bounce, so there's no way the Black Sea could have snuck into anything. But I don't know. That does give them some trouble over Bulgaria now because now they have to decide whether to build in Smyrna or Khan. And if they build in Smyrna, then I mean, there's 4 units on Bulgaria to one, and I mean 2, but Aegean can be cut. So we'll see.
Yeah, to get into the weeds on it, I think that self bounce is good when there's an army either or an army in Sev, I guess is the problem if Moscow walks down. Because if you get convoyed into Ankara in the first year, you're actually, you're just completely burnt toast. But here, I think it might be better to just let it walk into Khan and let that just let you have that possibility option. Because you're not going to get convoyed into, and if they stick the Black Sea fleet into Ankara, that's a Russia that I'm not as worried about.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, but with Russia sort of and Austria potentially ARing here, we'll see if that army in Ankara ends up costing them. Well,
all right. I declare Russia the big winner of 01.
Yeah,
Anyone
I mean,
disagree?
I think if we don't see the French fleet moving up, then maybe not so much because England would have then had the flexibility to continue trying to push north. But yeah, I mean, Russia definitely considering the risks that they took, it paid off pretty well.
All right, I think we can do builds.
Oh, Russia doesn't.
Sweet.
Interesting.
And it's a fleet
Turkey thought it was an
Liverpool
AR.
and an army Khan. All but telling Italy, take it. I'd be curious if Bulgaria just convoys to Smyrna and they have or Khan retreats to or goes to Smyrna, Bulgaria to Khan.
Yeah, so I mean, this next turn is going to be pretty pivotal because it will in the east because it will show does Italy and Austria work together and make progress and get into Aegean or Eastern? Does Russia try and help Turkey? Does Russia try and work with Austria against Turkey? I mean, we'll see if Turkey's going to die pretty soon because especially with that army build, if it could be pretty quick.
I think if Turkey knew that Russia was not building in Sevastopol, we would have seen a fleet.
Yeah, probably.
Nothing else leaps out to me. Germany's preserving options. Debatable on what England did, and the French are clearly, I guess, going to try and set up to either take the English Channel or take Portugal and convoy up to, Clyde.
Yeah.
We shall see. All right.
I think Germany's in a pretty good spot here.
I think Germany should go after France right now.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, Belgium's for the taking. I would be very surprised if North supported Belgium, and they can always cut it, I suppose. But yeah, Germany has their choice of the litter here with who they want to work with or who they want to attack. And I mean, there is the army in Tyrolia, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we get
All
any.
right. Let's see if the attack is now. I would have done the same thing that Germany did right here to continue to preserve options. All right. So let's look at this. France goes to Wales and the Channel. London is not guaranteed. That's a problem. Takes Burgundy and what's Spain ordering? Supports Denmark to North Sea. That's saying, hey, buddy, next time take the North in the fall. And I think Germany might do that.
Yeah, I mean, Germany definitely was, pretty passive here. We'll see. Maybe France just tries to hold on to Belgium here and then send that fleet in Wales up to Liverpool, because that sort of could lead to them keeping Belgium, depending on whether or not Germany gets angry about the Burgundy move. But yeah, I mean, Germany definitely, they could have taken Belgium. They could have supported themselves to Burgundy. They did neither, and we'll see if that ends up hurting their tempo a bit. But I mean, they definitely did preserve their options, and the North Sea's for the taking. So we'll see.
Right. Yeah, Pixie.
No, I got distracted by the East. I actually think that the AR might have expected an AIR. Unless maybe I don't play much face to face in this, and I haven't played much AR. Unless it's better to wait to attack Italy until later. But I always kind of assumed maybe the help would be there. But if it was an AR, I would have expected Vienna into Tyrolia with support.
Yeah, I mean, Italy's been ultra passive this game so far, so they're trying to keep their options open. But yeah, I mean, we'll see, because obviously Russia and Austria have been working together so far. So will Italy sort of be the odd man out? They're not getting attacked yet, but I mean, they're not really their fifth dot, unless if they try and go after Austria isn't very clear here. But yeah, I mean, AR rolls. They take Bulgaria. Yeah, what do you guys do here if you're Italy?
I would have moved to Eastern Med almost 100%. Turkey, I mean, that's at least one easy dot that they're not going to get now. Now you got France a little worried with the move to Tyrrhenian Sea, and with a bill coming in Portugal, you might see the fleet in Marseille. I mean, we don't know, but I'm not super impressed with what Italy's done. I agree with the comment that Italy's been passive, but I love what Russia and Austria are working out here together. This is I don't know. I don't know what Turkey's doing, but Bulgaria's normally lost in spring 1902 anyways. This just
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to Turkey,
yeah.
no matter what he ordered or what he built, I mean, if he doesn't bounce the Black Sea in spring 1901, this was always going to happen. I'm assuming Austria and Russia work together. So I mean,
JJ.
What?
Khan to Smyrna, Bulgaria to Khan. You try to take down a 3-army Turkey in gunboat. John Anderson did it to me once. It's kind of difficult, to be honest with you.
That's true. I mean, it's impressive that Russia sent the double support so early, but I mean, that's Turkey for you, I guess.
Yeah, that. I kind of like the convoy from Italy to Apulia, right? I think that it looks like Turkey's going out. Get yourself some extra defense.
Yeah, I mean, if I agree with that, and I probably would have went to Ionian and then Ionian to Eastern here, but I mean, if you're not doing that, then this is probably the right decision. We'll see
Yeah,
if Italy can get any potential growth here, if they just sort of get stuck.
Yeah, I would have done what Italy did here, likely. But with a little less signals, I think they're getting a little over signally, and that's what's leading to what y'all are seeing is playing passive. I
Mhm.
think we'd all be happier if the unit was no longer in Tyrolia. We would know, and the rest of the board then would know what Italy's intentions are instead of trying to guess what, moving to Spain means.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, so France
Question
and
I have for
Yeah,
you,
the north, go north.
one question about the North I have for you is this. I know it's common to see the army in Norway. It signals that, I have no further Scandinavian intentions, but I typically like to put fleet into North. But I don't think Germany going to Sweden. Think about that.
yeah, it's interesting. I mean, England's definitely probably regretting that Barents move, because now the Barents fleet is sort of in the middle of nowhere and it's most likely going to get disbanded. But yeah, I mean, I liked convoying to Norway as England, but didn't work out here. I mean, I don't usually go to Barents and Gunboat. I mean, it's a very risky move.
All right, guys, give me some predictions here. Liverpool did take Irish. Does Liverpool try for Mid-Atlantic, and does France try and defend it?
I mean, I don't know. If Liverpool tries for Mid-Atlantic, then or if Irish tries for Mid-Atlantic, then Liverpool is going to be open and England's already losing one here. I don't know. Maybe they have already sort of given up on this game, but if they haven't, I mean, MAO, sure, it might be cheeky, but France will most likely be building in that case. So I don't know how much good it does for you.
Well,
JJ's right. Maybe we lost Ed for a second, but I would say JJ's right. Going to Mao is something that feels like my sad, dejected self would say. If I was looking at these moves, I'd be like, oh, I've already lost the game as England. There's no chance. Can't do anything. I guess Mao, maybe that does something. But I mean, France is gonna if they really want to, they'll just build Army Marseille, right? In next year, and then they bounce him in Spain all day long, and you get nothing done.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't think it's worth the pain. I think you can. I mean, you can live on 3. They didn't build Fleet London, but you can live on 3.
oh, Russia does not cut the North Sea, makes an anti-Russian move. France cannot take London. Germany take Belgium and does not build because Portugal only offsets Belgium. What a turn.
yeah, France, not a great turn for France here. Both France and Germany signaled support of each other in the spring, but obviously Germany did not like that Burgundy move, so they decided to keep England alive, which might end up being a good decision. And they're going after Russia, although Sweden now is going to be pretty tough to grab. But yeah, I mean, interesting set of orders from France here.
And almost assuredly will be repaid by France cutting Norway to allow Germany to pick up Sweden, I would think.
We'll see. I mean, England sort of has to worry about England right now and helping other people
Norwegian
later.
Sea
But
isn't doing much.
yeah,
Might
that's
go
true.
around in North Atlantic. Who knows? Meanwhile, Italy does make the move to the Eastern Med.
Yeah, we'll see. If they do convoy that army in Apulia to Syria or Smyrna, they did move up to Bohemia, so Venice will be vulnerable. So we'll see what that Bohemia army is up to.
Yeah, I find that move a little strange if they're playing an AIR, because it's clear there's an AR, unless you think Austria is just faking it, which is a lot of communication for a gunboat game. And so I think you're that's I don't think Austria would have walked into Venice this turn. I agree with that play, but as being a Bohemia really heads towards Germany, roundabout Austria or Russia. And as Austria, I guess I would ask you two, would you rather pick this Italy as your like long-term ally than Russia with the North?
I might with Russia. The problem I find here is when Italy goes to Bohemia, there's a lot of miscommunication between Austria and Italy over who goes to Galicia, and it slows things down tremendously.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the convoy to Syria is pretty much guaranteed in the next turn. So I don't know if Italy decides, hey, I want a piece of this Turkish pie, and then they just send that army back to Tyrolia to presumably defend Venice, or if they try and push forward against Russia, because Italy definitely wants to AI, but Austria seems like they're more working together better with Russia right now. So we'll see.
I mean, I think it goes to how much gamble you have, because Italy can force Tyrolia with 2. Past, if Italy convoys out, oh, could be really bad for Italy.
I guess
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if Austria sees what we see with the Syria convoy, and if they in turn try and go to Venice.
I think my
Yeah, I
last
mean-
note for Austria here. Sorry to interrupt too much, JJ. If I was Austria, if I'm playing an AI art, I think this is fine. If I was playing an AR, I might have risked sending a single signal of friendliness to Italy to make sure that they make that convoy in the spring to Syria. Because if they leave there, being a Bohemia, Venice and Rome are yours. Just walk right in.
Yep.
Hello, we've got Sabine now. Sabine's
Sabine.
coming to us, I believe, from Chicago.
Yeah.
And is catching the game 1902. We are watching a Russia and Germany do really well, with
Yeah.
France starting to do poorly and England hanging on, and Austria doing well. Italy seems confused, and Turkey not looking good. So what does Russia build? Sabi, you're on mute, by the way. Pixie, JJ, or Sabi, what does Russia build here? Hard to
Really just
for me not to think. I don't know what they build.
I mean, it depends on how scared they are about a potential Italian attack. I mean, if I were them, I would probably consider Army 7, try and speed up taking down Turkey. But I mean, if they are worried about an AI, then they might build Army Warsaw. But I would probably say Army 7.
I mean, I guess you got to balance Germany. Germany's clearly aggressive here, but I don't think I like Army Warsaw. I think you're right. Is like too much of maybe a risk for bothering the Italian, and the Italian is currently your key to maintaining a really solid shot at a strong top in this game. I think, or the Austrians. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm building Army Warsaw, but again, this is why I'm bad at Speedboat.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Just different.
We'll see. Army Warsaw it
There you go.
is.
There you go.
And Germany builds Berlin, which maybe signals that Russia's built correctly there, because they're going to have some German issues pretty soon here.
I'll be intrigued for Germany's explanation on the fall plus winter later in the game. Like, why turn now? Just like,
Creating
was
two
it really-
enemies at once is not generally the best.
A question for you two. What do you do here as France? Because we saw France move up to Irish, and that sort of stalled out. Now they can't really make much progress against England, and they can't make much progress against Germany. So what do you do here for your France?
What did they say in Monty Python and the Holy Grail? Run away! Run away! I'm running away. I'm going to Mid-Atlantic. I'm trying to get Wales to English Channel. You know, I'm just trying to get my army in, my Portuguese army into Gascony by the fall, and I'm turtling up.
I
And
agree.
Pixie?
Yeah, I completely agree. And the reason is because Germany, I think, is betting that England is going to be still very anti-France here. They're trying to play for time to gain, maybe Sweden, right? And then tempt Norway, make an attempt at Warsaw, possibly, like maybe even a Central Powers situation. That's their goal here. And the way to take advantage of that is to go to England and say, hey, look, I'm not your problem anymore. And you know who let that person into Sweden? They didn't, not me. Maybe we should
Yeah.
go do something about that. I would even debate leaving the channel if I can put the fleet into Belgium somehow in the fall. But that's how I'm thinking about this.
Yeah, I
Welcome
think
back, Sabi from Chicago.
Mhm. Yeah, I think France definitely should just settle in, go to MAO and buy their time, see if England wants to work with them, just weigh their options because there's a lot going on over in Scandinavia. So I think, yeah, France just needs to chill out for a bit. They were pretty aggressive and now they just need to weigh their options.
I think another question is, what does Italy do?
Run away.
I cannot
home.
convoy to Syria.
I mean,
I
if you're
feel like
convoying to
Austria has-
Syria, then you have to go back to Tyrolia Bay. Yeah, I mean, with all those Austrian armies and the AR, I would probably just maybe try and see if I can get any Turkish thoughts, but probably just make sure I'm defending Venice.
Russia
Arrival
poses
of
no
Sabine.
threat to Austria. So why would Austria attack Russia? And where, maybe you can get Romania. I mean, Turkey's mad at one person only, and that's Russia. So I think Austria can, I think Austria has to support Vienna into Tyrolia, take Venice. And if I'm Italy, I cannot convoy. Sabine,
Yeah,
thoughts, if you can hear us?
I can hear you. I'm sorry, just skip over me right now. I'm
Okay,
trying to catch up.
skipping over.
Yeah.
All right, no problem.
Let's head to
yeah.
the
I
spring.
mean, Turkey could stay alive here for a little bit if Italy doesn't help the AR. So we'll see.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Khan's gone, right?
Not if Italy is worried about what you're suggesting Austria does. Yeah, but I mean, if Italy is going to give them trouble, which is probably most likely, then Khan is
We
gone.
shall see. Look at that.
Oh wow.
Okay, impressive that Italy got figured out the Galicia move. Austria senses the Russian weakness. Austria takes Romania. Italy protects Venice and gets the Aegean. This is a
Austria
unexpectedly
turns.
effective AI.
Yeah, I mean, good on Italy for trusting Austria there. And I guess I don't know. We'll see if Austria's decision ends up being a good one, but they did turn against Russia, so that's good for Italy.
Might be a little too early to turn on Russia. I think it's a little too early.
Yeah, I mean, they were probably counting on a little bit more German interference. I mean, Germany did support themselves to Sweden, but the Berlin just went to Munich, not Silesia or Prussia. So, we'll see. Russia
Yeah,
can
but
probably.
I guess I agree with Sabi here because Russia had the Norway and Sweden completely locked up against Germany, and Germany clearly devoted moves and units to making an aggressive move against it. And built, Army Berlin. So I think you could safely assume there was going to be some aggression, more than what we actually saw here. And I think with that, you're like, all right, someone's going to keep Russia busy, and the North's not going to resolve anytime soon because the EF ended up entangled. They might have sorted themselves out, but right, like as Austria, you had time to go kill Italy, right? It might take 4 years. but like, why not?
Oh, this seems
Yeah.
like a quicker way. I mean, I don't think Russia's hurt too badly.
Yeah, Russia
That's how it's
can
going to work
Russia
out.
can bounce back, but they don't really have a friend just now. Without
So what is the support on Eastern Med to Greece, to Aegean?
Austria moved there
Supports
in
Greece
the
to
fall.
Aegean.
yeah,
Yeah,
So
It's
that's just, I
interesting.
think that's a bet, like, oh, I won't lose Ionian if Austria did try to turn on me this turn. But if they play it friendly, I'm happy to give them Aegean. I think that's what Italy's thinking here.
yep. Anyone want to talk about the West? Pretty boring.
yeah.
Pretty boring, except I'm a little perplexed that Liverpool didn't cut Wales. I mean, I guess it didn't really matter. I really don't know what. I mean, I guess the point was they were afraid English Channel might go to London, but could have gotten that back. Like,
Yeah.
okay, fine.
I mean, at this point, I think both England and France need to realize that if they're going to be using all their units, or I guess all of England's units and all of France's fleets attacking each other, neither of them are going to get anywhere. So similarly to like a French-Italian stalemate in the Western Med, I think they just sort of both need to say, we're not getting anything from this. So let's just back off and maybe work together against Germany.
So Burgundy's lost, no question about it, in the fall.
Yeah. I mean, I think Belgium would be at risk in that case, but
Yeah. Belgium is more at risk than anything else, I feel like.
Okay, well, we shall see.
well, there's
in
some
the fall.
guessing, but
Clearly, Germany was worried too.
yeah. So Germany defends Belgium. I mean, I don't think France is ever getting Belgium. I think the chances of North cutting the channel were pretty likely there. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see what France does after this because, like we've been saying, they're not really getting anywhere attacking anyone. So
Yeah.
if they just sort of are stuck for a while, that wouldn't surprise me.
Me going back to where I was in spring 1902, Helgoland and Denmark.
It's cutting out a bit for me. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I didn't
Yeah,
hear
I'm
what
cutting
that
out a
meant.
little bit. Sorry. I'm in my separated from my wife pad, and I did the Texas country, so I'm working as best I can. But no, what I was is that does this presage that Germany is going to attack England?
See, I mean, Germany has gone in many directions this game. They haven't really
Yeah.
made up their mind. But I mean, North Sea is still for the taking for about the fourth turn in a row here.
I don't know what, like, who is allied with Germany at this point? They have none. They're antagonizing France, they antagonize England, they antagonize Russia. They have no one on their side. Seems,
Yeah, the West is very messy. No one's really, no one's losing anything, but no one's really in a position
Yeah,
to gain
but-
anything.
It feels like one of
I'm-
those things where people lose steam. It feels like one of those where it's like, we've passed 1903, so we've lost like the mental shape of the meta on what we came and think we were gonna do. And now England and France and Germany all sitting there being like, oh, geez, and it's gonna be that. My prediction is, I don't think anyone's gonna do anything for the next 2 years.
yeah, it's just
Like
gonna be
France,
just
Germany.
like,
I
it's just
agree.
gonna be back and forth of not a like aggression that's going nowhere. And
Yeah.
while
Let me
the
ask you, let me ask you what I think is the most interesting question of the winter. If you're Italy and you know France is not building, what do you build? So there can be no fleet build in Marseille.
I build a time machine so I can go back and send for only to Piedmont instead of up to Bohemia.
That is for sure. I don't know what is Italy trying to do at this point. You're just setting.
We don't really
yourself-
know.
They're
Well,
just setting-
they're benefiting from, Turkey being like, screw you, Russia, you ruined my game and then believed in an AIR.
Yeah,
Deserve what comes
it's
to you.
definitely interesting that Russia is still attacking Turkey here. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know exactly what else Armenia is gonna do, but I
But
Turkey was
not-
definitely mad at Russia here. So
not to hog it too much, but there was a thing, Austria did signal the convoy from Rome to Armenia in follow too, and then took advantage of Russia doing that. I mean, they would have gotten anyway, I think.
yeah.
In spring of 03. Yes, to be noticed as well.
It just, I don't know. I feel like Italy's just setting themselves to be stabbed at this point, facing off like they're nowhere near their home right now. No one's home, and it just
Mhm.
why are they so out of position right now? I'm just worried about Italy most of all.
yeah, I mean, Italy's definitely putting
A little
bunch of trust
surprised
into
that Russia
Austria.
did not. I'm a little surprised that Russia did not. From the Black to Ankara. I understand as much as anyone the importance of the Black Sea, but you had to know that Italy was going to put 2 on Smyrna, have a disband coming, and you really can't be affected by a lone Turkish fleet. Any
Yeah, I
thoughts?
don't know.
I don't know what Russia or Italy were thinking. This whole east is just a mess right now.
Everything's a
What
mess.
Onwards.
I don't know who to say did well this turn. I guess Germany, basing off the least
I think
amount of
Austria's in a good spot. I mean, I guess it really depends on if Austria's thinking about stabbing Italy or not, because I mean, it probably would work to at least some extent if they did.
yeah.
What does Russia disband?
Uh,
Probably Armenia.
I'm probably thinking maybe Norway seems pretty useless at this point. If Germany is giving them space,
Russia disbands Norway. Germany shifts their fleets back to the Baltic and Denmark for the 4th
100%.
time. They do.
Because then the EG
disband
is viable,
Norway.
right?
All right, so we see a disband of Norway. Sabine gets the gold star and a fleet build in Naples, which
is a choice.
Italy, you better figure it out. If Austria is on your side, you're a genius. If they're not, that could be bad.
This just seems like a disaster for Italy right now. Not gonna lie.
And
Yep.
boom, boom goes the dynamite
Retreat to Bohemia?
with the retreat to Bohemia.
Why?
Might have been a misclick. I'm willing to bet that's
It's
a misclick.
not a misclick. It's
Oh,
not
no.
a misclick.
No.
No.
I mean, why though? I mean, because now even if you're disbanding one, you're still not going to have any armies near there.
Oh God. Why? 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 I knew this was gonna happen. Austria has
Meanwhile, England and France continue to tie it up for no seeming reason, and
Yeah.
Germany takes the North Sea.
and then Norway is covered again by Russia.
But if we know anything about that sneaky German, they may try and go for Sweden in the fall.
Yeah, I mean,
I think there's no
real
downside
reason
to
not
doing it.
to.
Yeah, it's because this is like, this is French defense. This is classic like German looking at that Burgundy wall and being like, ugh, the effort to get through that. I might as well just play FG. But I don't really like France, right? Nobody does. So
Hey,
it's not personal. So I'm gonna let them continue to just EF fight it out, and just try to steal dots from Russia because I
Yeah.
don't want to deal with my actual neighbors.
If I'm Germany, what I might consider doing is predict that Russia's gonna cover Sweden and then go for Norway from north and then maybe backfill north from Denmark. We'll see. But
All
yeah,
right.
I mean, Germany has to be loving this turn.
Not as much as Austria.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
Austria already at 7. I mean,
Austria's only room to grow is Italy at this point.
I mean, they don't have any allies at this point, but no one can really do anything against them. So
Yeah, but they have no
Yeah.
room to grow besides Italy. And
So there goes Venice, only one needed. Vienna covered. And Italy guesses wrong on which unit is moving to Galicia. Oddly enough, could have, well, there were double supports. Could
Poor
have guessed
France.
both ways.
wait, why didn't he just went from Naples to Ionian? And so you could just have that double balance. Oh no.
yeah, I really don't know. Italy's
What are
been
you doing, Italy?
perplexing us for a while now.
I want to know who let Italy into the finals.
Was it the last country
I think-
pick?
I-
Maybe it's
okay,
their
let me
least
give some-
favorite.
I mean, I don't know. Go ahead, Ed.
Go ahead.
Well, it's bad. Okay, they're down 2 dots. Case for what's happening here to Italy, but I thought if they were just down 1 dot, the argument could be Austria, take Venice. I love you, Austria. Just don't take any more. But I just think it's being, misplayed here.
And Austria can go into Apulia and backfill Venice here without any. I mean, I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure they have Rome guaranteed in 1905.
I don't know.
I guess now Italy can support
Yeah,
themselves to
they can.
Ionian.
I
But-
do like what France tried to do here, thinking that Liverpool and London would self-bounce and giving the unwanted London. Didn't work, but not a bad play.
Yeah, I mean,
By the way,
France had
JJ, your
Yeah.
move would have worked in Norway.
it would have, and I don't really understand the Baltic move. Maybe it's convoying the Berlin army somewhere at some point, but
I don't know what they're doing. What is
Nah, it's all a mess, and I bet that Carthage is England. That's my bet.
I
I
mean,
mean,
good on England here for. I mean, I don't.
I've seen an English defense before in this.
I mean,
We'll
England's
see.
doing well. I think Germany's going to try for Livonia.
Now France has a guaranteed convoy to Wales.
yeah.
So we'll see if they opt for
Yeah.
that.
Let's talk something interesting. You're Italy. What do you disband here? 'Cause you lose
everything.
I get rid of my 2
Everything.
northern armies.
Yeah, those
I think.
armies are useless. Absolutely useless right now.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
I think-
becoming the Republic of Tunis as quickly as I
yeah,
can. if I'm
I was
Italy.
just gonna say, I think Italy's fate in this game is surviving in Tunis for as long as possible.
Or just go to Spain. Go to Spain, Portugal, live out in Portugal for the rest of your life.
I think it could happen. I think Italy survives, is my guess, but one never knows.
Turkey,
agree.
Turkey builds.
Yeah.
Turkey
wow.
builds, and what does Turkey build?
I would
Because
Army?
Russia's
fleet.
signaling that they want to go away. Italy wants to go away.
Maybe an army.
I mean, they
Back to black.
have to
Take it
build
back
a
to black.
name. It's possible Turkey just wants to
Built,
send a
built,
message
built,
to Russia,
built,
but
built,
I don't know.
Built.
Does anyone of you view the Black Sea as Turkish or Russian? I decidedly think it's Turkish.
Ah,
In
right,
general, or
this is a rabbit hole.
Sea
We'll have a separate
Just
call
like
for
the-
this.
is English. The Black Sea is Turkish.
I don't know. I think Austria might have a say in that conversation. Fleet
Builds an
Trieste.
army. Builds
Austrian
an
fleets.
army.
Austrian fleets.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that was a must. I should have asked you that question, but I think a fleet is a must for Austria.
yeah. I mean, it does make taking one of Rome or Naples a little bit more difficult. But I mean, in the long run, it's probably the smart build.
Who are Turkey's enemies?
I mean, I think Turkey's in a surprisingly good position, despite literally every unit bordering them. You know,
Yep.
if you had just seen, if you just see this board, you'd be like, Turkey. But considering all the chaos going on in the rest of the East, Turkey might survive here.
Yeah, if I'm Turkey, I take some notes from the Italian. I do nothing for another year and then I act. So the worst thing that can
Yeah.
happen is the Italian goes suicidal into you, like puts you on 2 and then maybe Russia picks you off, or Austria gets into a GN, right? That's the worst case scenario.
Yeah, I
Sit on
agree.
3 for a year, do literally nothing except support holds, maybe send one signal, a nice
Yeah.
letter.
Because
does
the
Germany
Italian
do
fleets
here?
are most likely
With-
getting out of there. And maybe
Yes.
even the Armenian army.
Does Germany go north? Do they go east? Do they go west? What do they do?
Russia's looking awfully tempting there for Germany, but I mean, if they let England go, then France is also gonna probably get some dots off of England, and then France all of a sudden is an issue. So I don't know. Back to Denmark they go.
Okay,
Back
what
to
is Turkey?
Den.
But what is Turkey doing?
Turkey wants revenge on Russia, I guess.
Right, with, but
But why not
never
build
can
a
take
fleet in that
Sevastopol.
case?
Right, that's the problem. Italy takes back the Ionian.
They
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So B, what
Austria
stands
cannot
out to you here?
secure Tyrolia.
What?
What stands out to you here? What's the most interesting part of this turn for you?
Honestly, it would just. I really don't know anything at this point because everything's a little bit of a mess. Like Germany does not know how to make up their mind. Russia is just not making any steps forward at all. Austria, yeah, they're going a little too hard right now on Italy, and I do like that Adriatic move. But yeah, I think France is the only normal one right now, I would say.
Good turn for
And
France.
props to France. France is like, I'm attacking England and it's never gonna stop. There's
Yeah.
And I
1905.
mean,
and-
England. I guess England's accepting that now. They're like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm just gonna go send my fleet to Norwegian.
Yeah, I
Hey,
think
France might get 2 builds.
they might. I don't know. Can they?
I mean, they will unless
Germany
North
supports London.
supports, which is probably unlikely.
Yeah, especially if it's a speedboat game. It's going to be hard to like communicate which moves to support into London.
You think
Yeah.
France is gonna send that Marseille army east and try and help Italy, or they're gonna? What do you think?
I think maybe.
That's smart. That's a good note, JJ, because the only other top threat in this game is Austria. It's France and Austria at this point, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, those are
No.
definitely-
I disagree. Can't build in Marseille. He might build a fleet, but here's the thing. France would be more than happy for Germany to commit against Austria and then swoop in for dots. I think France can be a little patient here. Doesn't have to go help Austria.
Mhm.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, it is the spring, so we'll see.
Yeah,
They could go to Piedmont and then build something in
All
Marseille.
right, we'll
but-
go
Or I
to
could
the
go to
fall.
Spain. Or go to Spain and build.
I would walk to Piedmont. Yeah, I support walking to Piedmont.
But why go back to Burgundy? My question. Why go back to Burgundy?
Unless you're afraid Germany goes there.
I think that's too nervous though. Sabi's right.
Yeah.
Like you can't, like you just walked out, which is a show of faith, and this German hasn't committed to anything all game. Are they really going to commit to attacking you?
But then, but again, Germany just went from Holland to Russ. So
I feel like if you play this out 20 times, like the past 2 years, like there's definitely a few scenarios where Germany's in a really good spot, but they keep trying to convoy to Yorkshire and it keeps
many-
bouncing, and they,
yeah,
I guess, do not want to go after Russia.
how many like bounces to York can they do? This feels like the Nexus finals all over again, where it's just the same moves over and over again, just hoping it goes in any moment now.
Yeah, I feel.
Hey,
I
it
feel
did
with
go
Germany,
in 03, that moved to Holland. But while in the East, look at this. I'm attacking Russia. No, really, I'm gonna go to Bulgaria, South Coast. I'm gonna get support of Russia. I mean, job by Turkey to get another build. I don't know how. If I was Russia, I'm good on Turkey,
Yeah.
but now no.
Psychic from
So-
Russia here.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm Austria, I'm pretty shocked that I'm losing Bulgaria here because would not have seen that coming.
And Rum signaled it could have just held Bulgaria.
Yeah, it could have, but I mean,
I guess no, it was just supporting the. Oh, I'm sorry. It was supporting Armed Sev. That's my bad.
Yeah, which would have been nice, to be fair.
No, I mean, Rum could have supported Bulgaria.
Yeah,
Rum supporting Armenia to Sev.
that would work. It wasn't cut.
Yeah.
if you're Turkey, do you consider waving here? Because another army in Ankh isn't going to do you any good. And I'm assuming at this point, you're not building a fleet Ankh.
I would wave.
Oh, that's
Oh no.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes.
you
Yeah.
could just shift everything and get the fleet out into the Aegean and like all. No, you can't. Never mind. Ignore me.
Meanwhile, who knows what Germany's doing.
So we all like France. Austria, after losing Bulgaria, is in a bit of a rough spot. Anyone other than France that
Uh,
that we like?
That's about it. I like the Russia move.
Russia
Taking
keeps
them out.
going back and forth between Norway and Sweden, and
No, but like the on the south, not the north.
yeah,
The north is a joke, but like the south of trying to kick out Austria out of Gal is a nice move.
I agree with B. I think after France, my next most likely top would be Russia, and it's because
Mhm.
everyone's about to jump on the anti-Austria train, right? It's chugging. The tracks are set. It's gonna get rolling. Italy literally can't do anything else. Turkey mostly can't do anything else. So there's a world where, in the great future of 1909, maybe like the North has stalled, FG are fighting, England's on one, and then Russia can pick up a bunch of builds from Central
Mhm.
Austria and it's like, hey, what's up? Big
yeah.
Russia.
I mean, Russia's probably going to get Romania in 1906, and maybe they build another northern fleet and try and make some progress up there.
Austria's just got a whole bunch of tough decisions.
Yep, Austria
But what do you
made a lot
disband?
of
This is a
enemies,
problem.
and it's coming back to bite them.
But what do you disband?
Hmm.
Wrong?
That's a bad sign when we can't. I probably disband Bohemia.
Would you?
Well, what's worse? They're all bad. Maybe Romania. Take it, Russia.
Maybe Adriatic.
I guess two
You're
fleets.
gonna
You
need
can get
that for
Italy
the
back on
defense
side.
of Venice.
Oh yeah, that's true. Francis and Piedmont.
Yeah, you've screwed Italy too much to ever have them help you again, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah, I
Puglia,
mean-
maybe.
Yeah, probably if you're gonna disband Apulia or Adriatic, it's probably Apulia. So we'll see.
All right.
Taking the AR.
We
Should have
will
walked into Venice.
see. Romania. Okay, Russia, we're friends again. Come take it.
Oh wow.
We'll
Oh,
see.
And
An
Turkey
army.
does not waive.
An
Builds
army.
a ridiculous army in Ankara. Basically says, I'm happy to end the game on 4.
That's a choice. That is a
That's
choice.
that's a good score for a 2-game finals.
4 centers. Yeah.
I don't know.
Turkey.
I mean,
yeah.
I feel like the
Okay.
chances of Turkey of losing anything is very low, and now they're just sort of ruining any chance of growing. So I would have waved, but we'll see.
I'm not a
It's
fan.
winter 05.
I think Turkey gets an F for this build.
What
honestly.
does this say for the Russian-French relationship now? France is signaling, I want to be friends with the fleet built in Marseille. That's obviously not great for Italy. But I don't think we'll see a convoy to York by Germany this time.
I think this French build in Marseille, I'm going after Austria more than I'm gonna hurt Italy.
No, I mean, what does that one fleet really accomplish? I mean, I suppose if Italy's busy with Austria, then maybe you can sneak into Tunis or get something going down there. But I mean, unless they send more fleets down, then I don't really see.
I think it may go to Spain to
Yeah.
prevent a rogue fleet headed west. We'll see.
I mean, we'll see what Germany does here. None of us have been able to predict what Germany does.
Germany wants to take out Edinburgh or Norway.
I think Norway.
Yeah, I mean, knowing Germany's luck, I'm pretty sure Eddie's gonna cut the right one, or Norway's gonna cut the right one, and they're not gonna get either. But we'll see.
Oh God, Germany, what are you doing? No, because they're going back against France. Like they went from Sill to Munich, then Raw back to Holland. Yeah. I guess Germany decided now, let me go bother France.
Well, I think that this is France wants Belgium.
Yeah, probably. So I guess this is not going to go for Norway. This is going to go for Eddie.
Yeah, I mean, definitely seems like England wants France to have its last thought and not Germany, which is weird given France's relentless attack of England. But I don't know.
Meanwhile, good defense. I think that was a good disband by Austria. Pick up Rome on a 50-50. Piedmont does not go to Venice. Instead, it goes to Tuscany, where it could help, where Austria could help it into Venice, but Bohemia goes down so it can support. Austria is all of a sudden not looking so dire, except for Turks will have two, and Austria gets a friendly retreat into Tunis.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I guess good on Turkey. They do have a potential chance at getting Greece, and hopefully if they do, they finally build a fleet. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see if the anchor army.
I don't like that double bounce in con.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know what was that for. Not a
I mean,
I have to tell you, I would not have retreated to Tunis. I would have retreated to Apulia. Tunis can't be defended.
But it guarantees you take one of Rome or Tunis. So if you're thinking that might be better for them, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
yeah, it's a gamble.
Having spent 5 more seconds thinking about it, I think I probably agree with Ed. Send it elsewhere because a collapsed Italy no longer benefits you. You're just handing centers to France in the long term at this point.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
I think they're knowing that they're going to lose a lot more of Balkans to Turkey. Probably best to just give it up.
Well,
And they
RG.
did.
so they will be down 2.
All right, let's see the army Smyrna from Turkey in the winter.
Meanwhile, Germany does get a build.
Oh,
Do.
wow. About
Germany.
time. It's like the first build in how many years?
I feel like
That would
long time.
be three? Where was it winter 02 maybe? So that's depending on how you count them 4. But I mean, yeah.
Oh, wow.
well, it'll be interesting to see if Russia gets wary of potentially Germany going after them here, because I mean, it seems like Germany and France at least have something worked out. And I mean, I don't know. If I'm Germany, I'm definitely considering building a third fleet.
I wouldn't. I would build another army in Berlin and try to make your way against the Austrian threat right now.
What threat of Austria?
I mean, they're getting. That is true. Maybe I'm being a little too like optimistic, but they can't disband anything because like they pipped the Tunis ones, and they're not disbanding any of their army pieces right now.
I think you have to build a fleet keel,
Mhm.
and I
That's what
think
would
you
probably
press an
do.
attack on France.
I think it's too early to turn on France.
No, no, no. It's in my mind, it's just the right time, but we shall see. Again, this is why I'm bad at Speedboat.
I think
Army
what that
keel.
does is it lets Russia come in and power up, right? And that's
Yeah.
why, we
What
were
does Army
I was
keel
talking
do?
about France and Russia were the ones that were looking great. And it's for precisely the reason it's if FG start fighting in the north, which might be why France turned south, right? It might be they went, oh, if we get caught doing this, Russia's just gonna eat up Vienna, Budapest, Romania, and then come after Germany from behind, last couple of years, get the top, and I'll have wasted all my opportunities. So why not go after a weak Italy? Right?
Yeah. Or
Why
like
I like the Army keel. I think it means they're attacking Scandinavia. There can be no other explanation for that. Other
Yeah.
than or an attack on France, but
I mean, if that's the intention, then I'm more okay with it. But I mean, I would have probably built the fleet either way here.
I would not build a fleet because then you just antagonize either Russia or France at this point if you want to keep your center count as is.
I think Ed's actually onto this one because if you
Yeah.
Army Berlin is anti-Russian, so you lose a friend. You also have to commit. It'd be a whole mess. They had to build, right? It's another army. You're not getting anywhere there. Fleet anything. Yeah, well, I guess Fleet Berlin maybe. So Fleet Kiel would have been like, all right, France, let's duke this out. And I don't think you want that either, because your sneak attack on France here is a convoy to Eddie. Eddie moves to Clyde, right? And then you put 2 on Liverpool and you slide down. And the sneak attack in Scandinavia is what Ed pointed out, which is like you try to walk in the Norwegian and Ska maybe, and you walk Kiel up to Denmark, and then you have a guessing game up there. I guarantee one. What do y'all think?
all right. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
Boom.
Head on the money.
Oh, but look at that. St.
The
Pete.
Russia anticipated it a bit
Nothing.
with the move from
Yeah,
Moscow to
but they
St.
can't.
Petersburg.
They're gonna lose one unless if France,
But then France is also starting to
unless if
attack.
France cuts north.
And look at that. France is starting to attack.
Anticipated it, but I don't like Army of St. Petersburg doesn't give you anything more than just leaving Norway there because you would just move Norway to Sweden, right?
Yeah.
And that's your guarantee you only lose one. Maybe you disband it on the inevitable retreat, right? Because inevitably they're going to support themselves into Norway, or they
No,
might
but
even
look-
convoy into Norway with support. So like you just sort of abandon the north and be like,
Wait, do you see that Gal moved to Bohemia?
Yeah, but I mean, that's not. I mean,
Silesia would have been better.
What? I guess, yeah. More of a guessing game at that
I
point.
suppose there's a slight chance they work out a supported attack on Munich. France is attacking Germany, which I guess might signal that they might support themselves to North Sea here in the fall. But I don't know.
Meanwhile, good news, bad news for Italy. They're probably going to take Rome back as Austria
Hmm.
and then ultimately Tunis because of it.
Seems like Austria is going to lose two here.
Yep. So I think the only one who wins so far in this early season is probably Turkey. They didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
I think the convoying an army onto England would have worked in hindsight better for Germany.
A little
Mm.
bit.
I think that assumes, I mean, I liked it too, but I think that also assumes of France that was going to actually commit more. I think in hindsight, I realized that if you're Germany here, you haven't given signals all game to France that you actually care about them at all. And so it makes sense that France is finally fed up with your refusal to actually, commit any units anywhere. And it's like, all right, well, whatever. I don't really want to power up the South anymore. Austria is weak enough. Turkey's about to be a menace, so I need Italy back. Let me turn around and just attack Germany because I'm sick of this person. Like, I want them to go away.
I agree. I do not like this Germany at all.
Do we think this late breaking RT has enough time / growth opportunities to really work together, or you think both of them are going to get stuck?
I believe they have time. I think
I think they got it.
This game never ceases to amaze. So Germany's like, I'm sorry, I'll go to Edinburgh. But France is building, Italy's building, but France makes a move to the Western Med.
Okay.
I don't know what's happening in the Balkans. Everyone's supporting Romania, supporting Bulgaria to Serbia, Serbia supporting Romania to Serbia.
And then
Yeah, I
Austria
mean,
lost too.
Austria's going to fall eventually, right?
Well, they lost too.
But
Yeah.
it can't be great. Can't be great for Turkey here.
They were
Who do
drop
we-
balls at this point, by the way.
All right, we didn't say goodbye to England in 06. We should have. England, thank you for playing. You
Thank
lasted
you.
longer than I thought you would.
Yeah, I
given
respect
the
I
attacks
respect
that you face.
the continuous bounces in Yorkshire.
Army build, essentially ensuring the defense of France.
What do we like
Italy
to top
builds a
now?
fleet. I mean, this is
I think Russia
mean-
probably. I mean, given that Germany now is going after Liverpool. Because now that Russia doesn't have any issues, they're probably building one in 1908. They can seal up the north and then continue powering through the Austrian territories, and then maybe even have enough flexibility to build some fleets up north. Because I mean, Germany's pretty vulnerable if they go to they get a South Coast fleet in there.
I think Germany's going to move to North Atlantic. Edinburgh's going to move to York. I don't know. Well, you got the North Sea to worry about, so I guess the North Sea has to be defended by Norwegian.
No, because Norway could hold North Sea. Norway, they're being a bro.
I think they would. I think you're right. I think they did it last turn, but it was
Yeah.
a signal. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
And if you're Russia, you're like, why would I let France get the top?
I feel bad for Austria, but
They got too
mean,
big.
To be fair, they did attack all three of their neighbors. So
Yeah, they got too greedy too early.
goodbye Vienna, goodbye Serbia.
I'm a little surprised by the
Oh,
Serbian
Artigo.
support. Because Russia, or I'm sorry, Turkey was really stuck in that position. If you looked at it, like they had to commit to either taking Ionian, and they needed Russia to get anywhere. And I think you could have played very greedy and just kind of did your own thing and been like, oh well, Turkey, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
And I mean, Turkey doesn't have any fleets on the black, so they could be mad at you, but they can't really do anything about it. I agree with Pixie here. I mean, maybe a few years down the line, if you're getting really worried about Turkey getting annoyed with you, but I mean, I don't know. It is giving Turkey the potential to get another dot or two, and then potentially have their only path of growth being through Russia.
Right. It's like alliance play, wonderful, beautiful thing when you need an ally and you want to grow together. Here, you've got an ally in Germany. They're stuck helping you. And Turkey growing is only going to lead to them stabbing you in the years when it matters. Right. It's different when it's like 1902, 1903, and you might stab them, they might stab you, fun, sparks fly. But here, I think, put on your Germany hat and just be like, I'm just gonna I'm gonna do me for a little bit.
France moves into
France do?
Tyrolia. So that's
France does
interesting.
France attack Munich next or Trieste?
I mean, I don't know.
Given the move
I
to
think
Liverpool,
France has a not a great chance, but a decent chance of getting one of Belgium or Munich. So potentially, But yeah, I mean, obviously they can't be very happy about the move to Liverpool. I don't know why they were expecting much different given the army and Eddie, but we'll see.
I think they talked themselves too much that Germany would continue behaving exactly the same way they did. Very temperamental, very walk around, very do whatever. But I think this behavior is very consistent with how the Germany's been, which is, yeah, I'm gonna do what's right in front of me. And then being like, oh, well, that doesn't look great anymore, but like nothing looks better than walking into a dot here, right? And then they're too scared about losing North, so they don't, they don't even back it up. Even though Russia did exactly what Sibi said. So yeah, that was France.
I agree. Germany's a very transactional player.
Yeah, I do not like this German player at all.
I just feel like Germany's missed a lot of opportunities. They missed an opportunity to get English dots. I mean, I guess now, to be fair, they do have Eddie and Liverpool, but and then they missed a chance to get Scandinavian dots. But I mean, to be fair, they are going to be one behind Russia, I think, after this year. So they're still
Well,
in
they
it to
just
win it.
got, yeah, they got Budapest, they got Vienna.
Yeah, so RT keeps rolling. It'll be interesting to see
The
where the alliance
RTG.
goes.
RTG.
RT and half
Little
of G, maybe.
No, it's a RG with a little T.
But I mean, I don't know. I want to be Russia right now. I want to be Russia so bad.
Can we just say RIP to this poor Austria?
Gotta build an army Warsaw, right?
Went to being eight centers. They had 8 centers. And look at the
I
map.
feel like, I don't know. I really want SDP to be open if I'm Russia right now. And I don't know if it was worth the risk moving to Finland or Livonia or something like that. But
No.
don't know.
Well, I don't mind. Look, the retreat to Galicia, that's perfect excuse to build in Warsaw. They're gonna,
yeah, I just feel like, I mean, there's not much dots for them to get. I mean, they propped Turkey up, so now Turkey's going to be pretty hard to crack through. So I mean, other than Trieste, their next dots are off Germany.
yeah, Germany that's the next move. Russia now moves on Germany.
I
Whereas
think
Germany
you could stab
commits.
Turkey.
You could, but I don't know.
Black Sea's wide open. They're not building fleet Ank.
Unless if Italy decides to help, they're gonna.
They might
be
build army Yank.
They like armies. That's true.
They do like armies. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, Russia's definitely a favorite, but we still have France and Germany duking it out. And I mean, maybe Turkey gets lucky, gets another dot, and finds a way to top the board.
So if we're going to talk about difficult disbands, what does France disband?
That Tyrolean one, I would
It's the
say.
only thing I can come up with.
Yeah, I mean, Venice then becomes pretty vulnerable, like a year or two down the line, assuming the RC gets Trieste. But probably that's the only thing you can do.
Yeah, everything else is pretty necessary right now.
Yeah.
Army Smyrna. Okay.
That's a choice.
Disband Tyrolia. 2 armies for Russia. I might have waived one. Army Berlin expected.
Yeah, I would have waved. I would have
Would've
waved.
waved.
Yeah, I mean, Gal is a choice. Keeping Gal.
Yeah, I mean, screw you, Russia.
I don't know. I would have liked the Russian position a lot more right now if they had the STP army in Finland or Livonia, and then they built a fleet south coast. But I mean, I don't know. It was. You can only
I
understand
think
why they
it
did
was a
what
good
they did.
point. Yeah, didn't mean to completely ignore it because you're right. Because Germany's committed to antagonizing France. It's the perfect
Yeah,
time.
Germany is stuck with
Swoop
France.
in.
Yeah.
Do we see Galicia support Bulgaria to Romania?
I guess, I mean, that Galicia is just probably gonna do its own thing there. Whatever Austria is in the Austrian player's heart is what Galicia will do. Because they've given up on Trieste.
Yeah, it's a shame because they could have survived because France is doing nothing but support holding Trieste, right?
Yeah.
Italy's only fleets that can't rotate around.
I don't know.
Oh, well.
I'm not a fan.
And I believe
It
that means it
draws.
drew.
Yep.
It draws at the end of
Who
1908.
draws a finals game in
Yeah,
1909?
this first, all right, so
1909.
who is this the worst decision for?
Russia, I think.
Russia, easily. But at the same time, like, who draws a finals game in 1909 for a game that ends in 1912? Is my question. There's so much more left to play in this game.
Well,
I mean, there
I
is
mean, I
more
see
play
it,
for
but
sure. I mean, I feel like,
what does Russia fear?
yeah,
Doing nothing.
exactly. I was just gonna bring that up. Like, if you're Russia, what dots are you losing? I mean, maybe Romania, if by some miracle, but I mean, Russia's pretty locked in, and I mean, they don't have that much growth, but there's no risk. So
Yeah.
I'm probably not drawing if I'm Russia. Anyone else? I mean, Turkey probably also. I mean, you don't have much at risk, I suppose. Serbia might be at risk if Russia gets into Trieste, but I don't know. I think Russia's the main.
Well, let me give you the counterweight, right? Like Russia can't make progress right now against Germany on the continent.
We lost you, Ed, again.
Yeah, but I know that Ed's definitely saying some very good opinions that we all agree with.
Yeah, let's just all
Of
nod our
course.
heads in agreement to
Yeah,
that.
yeah. No, those
Yeah.
were great points. I'm just saying, I'm not sure Russia has a lot of growth potential.
Because they
Yeah.
used both builds.
I mean, they could still, but
Yeah, I
I
mean,
would have not drawn in 1909 in a finals game.
I just feel like with France and Germany so bottled up with each other, I probably would have looked to grow up north. But I mean, I don't know. It's not that horrible.
Like easily, he could slide Norway to Sweden, St. Pete to Norway, try to slide himself into Denmark, easy peasy.
Right,
Because-
the reason Russia not to, right, is you're worried about handing France like a very strong top by comparison, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, we have 4 people with decent scores. I mean, I don't think. I mean, I think all of these players are still in it in the second round. Because I mean, the 9 center board top isn't that hard to overcome. But I mean, a lot of people are happy with, they got one solid score and now they just need to top the next one.
so can I award the Rusty Blade to Austria? Because,
I
How
mean,
about the
they
rustiest
survived.
blade?
Got a lot of use.
yeah. And then,
Props to Turkey.
Yeah.
3-army Turkey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
I mean-
pretty sure Turkey was down to 2 at one
Yeah.
point, right?
they were down to 2 and they got Lepantoed and everything and they came back.
Yep. Always kill Turkey, as Ed says.
Hey,
Except
Some
if
people
Sabi's
listen and some
Turkey.
people don't.
Except if
Yeah.
Sabi's Turkey, of course.
you should never kill somebody's turkey. But yeah, I don't know. I feel so bad for Austria. That's just
Oh, I feel
I understand where you're coming from.
they end in 1.
yes, but they went from 8
Austria
to
got a
1.
great victory.
8 to 1.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
got
but they
the
did it to
Icarus
themselves.
Award.
Yeah, that's a rusty blade if I've ever seen one.
All right.
I mean-
So, any other final thoughts? I think it's anyone's game except for maybe England or Austria is going into round 2.
don't-
Anything else before we wrap it up?
England could still come back if they have a nice, good, like 15 center top. I don't
I
know.
mean, yeah,
As Turkey.
although we've had our critiques, I mean, I think in general it was a pretty well played game, and I mean, we love to see no 16 center board tops in game 1, where
Yeah,
the
this
finals
is-
are pretty much locked up after one game. So we
yeah.
had
At least
suspense for the second one, and I mean, I think judging off this first game, the second one will also be exciting.
I like this one. This is a lot better if they didn't draw in 1909.
Yeah, I think everyone overcorrected from the last finals. and was like, well, I gotta make sure I have a decent first game result, and then I'm gonna go ham in game 2. So I think absolutely agree. Game 2, like this only sets up game 2.
Yeah, I mean, game
Yeah.
2, everyone's going to be aggressive because you need the score. So, I mean, that's probably going to end up leading to faster eliminations and more craziness. But I mean, that's what aggressive play leads to.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to point out here that Ajax is listening right now. Ajax used to run Nexus and has disappeared for like a year and a half, only to message me, Ajax, I love you. He's the one that got me started, said I should do a podcast. Only to message me and saying, we're too hard on Germany. We were too hard the whole game. They ended up with the second most amount of centers. And I think, Ajax, you make a good point. Come back to Nexus. We miss you.
Come back.
Yeah, I mean, just because Germany didn't necessarily do what we suggested, I mean, doesn't mean what their strategy was bad. They were pretty conservative. They weighed their options, and I mean, they're in great shape. But I mean, I think we said they were a very transactional player, I think they might need to be slightly more risky in the second game. But I mean,
I don't know. They play Germany a little bit like Italy. I'm going to attack France. No, I'm going to attack Russia. No, I'm going to attack England. Now I'm back to Russia. Then I'm back to England and France.
It was just too chaotic.
yeah, but
I-
I mean, they had a solid enough defense at all points in time to where they weren't really punished.
I do hate the fact that they were just rewarded for being chaotic and not having any sort of game plan at all. I hate that they got second top for this.
I thought we were supposed to be complimenting Germany here.
No,
I'm turning it around.
I'm turning it around. We have
Good job,
complimented them now.
Germany. Good job.
I don't approve of it.
All right,
excited for
so
game 2.
we are going to wrap this up. Thank you, diplomacybriefing.com, for sponsoring us, where you can get all your diplomacy content and figure out what's going on in the hobby in the web. They will cover this. Typically they do, and they will. I'll make Humble do it. And thank you, Pixie, for showing up on time. JJ, for your
Slightly
many
late.
questions without many answers. And Sabine, for your sarcasm. So it was.
We tried.
I was gonna say maybe Ed
So
just goes,
everyone, good night.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.